Hey Meeple people, and on today's vlog, we're going to be playing a solo game of Uprising, The Curse of the Last Emperor. This is by Nemesis Games. It is for 1 to 4 players and takes about 120 minutes to 240 minutes. Woo! Let's get into it. So this is Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor. We thank Nemesis Games for sending us a copy, an all-in Kickstarter copy. It's insane. It came with a bunch of goodies and even an expansion and some extra dice to roll around. We'll show you the rest of the game, but this game is insane. The production quality is just high tier. Let's go ahead and just show you the board and what we're going to be like, what we're playing on today. Look at this. It is taking up the whole game table. Instead of miniatures, they did standees, which, you know, in some cases I prefer, but it's just insane. But they got some miniature. These are the garrisons that you'll be fighting against in the game. And yeah, this is just, you know, the first thing I just want to go ahead with this one is just the insanity, the production quality, all these bins. And again, this is an all-in Kickstarter that I received from Nemesis Games. And we really do appreciate just the loving treatment that they showed meeples on the ground. But whoa, I'm going to be playing 2 factions today because you have to at least play it with 2 factions. And I'm going up against the Chaos Horde, and the Imperial Legion. Look at these miniatures. Or I'm sorry, I keep calling them miniatures. They're standees. And those dice, it's just the production quality for this is just really up there. And putting everything together, even the standees, the bases clicked in. And it was just, you know, just pretty freaking cool. And these are the 2 factions I'll be playing. There's the first. There's the second. I'm going to just give you a real, you know, basic overview of this game because there's so much into this game. If you like 4X games, I'm already jumping to my final thoughts, but I definitely recommend you check this out. This is just such an intense and fun game. I even heard, Scott from BGG likes this game, but you'll have to talk to him more about that. But so with this game, the point of the game is you want more victory points. There's the victory point tracker all around the board. You want more victory points than the Chaos Horde and the Imperial Legion. You want, like in my case, I want both of my factions at the end of it's played over 4 chapters, so after 4 rounds. But the rounds are pretty long, which I'll get into in a sec. But after these 4 chapters here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, I have to have more victory points than the kind of AIs or the game's players. I have to have my players. In this case, I control 2 factions. I have to have both of their victory points over these victory points. And if I lose to one of them, I lost the entire game. And they have some cool flavor text where if you lose to one, it says, you know, hey, you lost, and this is how you lost. But if you lose to both, it's like you suck. You just everything you were trying to save is gone. I was like, oh, that is terrible. But yeah, so the point is to get more victory points than the Chaos Horde and the Imperial Legion. You do that by creating havens, destroying the Horde and Legion's armies. You'll get points for that. Making sure, you know, like I said, you grow and expand. This is a 4X game, so you gotta, you know, explore, expand, exterminate. And I think there's one more, but it's eluding me right now. But you do get to start, like, this is where one faction's starting off, and this is where another faction started off. And this is, you know, this is a setup for a 2-player scenario. And I'm about to get into one of the events here in a second. But this is just one heck of a game. You're going to be going ahead, expanding your faction, destroying and attacking, gaining victory points, gaining items. These are some items you start out with. They're called feats, and they are just special abilities that you're given throughout the game, like this other faction here. And this is just really just am loving what they're doing with these standees. The standees also have so for your units, they'll have dies you're going to be using, so it's kind of a quick reference. But yeah, this game takes a while to play, so let's see if I missed anything. Not really. I mean, I know it's a very basic overview. You just want more victory points at the end of the game than these two factions, the game's factions, I should say. And but yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. You do that by, as I said, exploring, expanding, exterminating. I'm forgetting that one E. It's just eluding me. But yeah, there's just some quests you'll be able to do that also will get you some victory points or some resources to go ahead and make your army stronger. There's more items you can buy. And so I said you're going to be playing this over 4 rounds, and those rounds are 4 phases, 4 events. Also, during, I guess events is the better term for it, because during each event, each phase, or each round of the game, you will be starting up on this chapter tracker. So you're going to be going through this whole thing here, all of this. You're going to take your turns, you're going to build, you can produce. Your opponent, the Nemesis, which is the Horde and the Legion, the Horde and the Legion factions, they'll take their turns and wreck your face if you let them. And then you get into the production, getting resources and all that, so you can start up. And then at the end, you'll go into scoring, and that if you let them get too big and too strong, you're gonna just get wrecked, and it's gonna be well, I might as well just throw the game. But yeah, there's a bunch of play raids. This game takes a while to play, but also the rules are pretty helpful. They're pretty straightforward, and it's a nice spiral-bound rulebook too, which is very appreciated. But yeah, so this is quite the game that Nemesis Games has brought to our table. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it, and I'll see you guys midway through the game to talk more about it. Toodles! Welcome back, Meeple people, and we are in the middle. We're at our midpoint of our short game of Uprising, Curse of the Last Empire. And what I mean by short is, by all means, this game is not short. This is just a view of what we've got after the first chapter, the first round per se. And there's a lot going on. And I've just gotten into a little bit of the second round. And this game is really awesome into the thought of you can make the game as long as you want. So for a short game over here, you can do the first 2 chapters. For a little bit longer, 3 chapters. And then for full 4x goodness, you can do all 4 chapters. So today I'm going to just be doing the first 2 chapters, and that's just a lot. Again, these are the chapters chapter cards and round cards that you will flip over at the certain point. But this little line here, if you can see all of that little scroll and where my little marker is right there, this is the chapter track. This chapter track is telling you everything that you're doing step by step. So it's really helpful, and it moves the game along as you just kind of go through everything. There are a couple long phases within the chapter, and yeah, you're fine. So far I have a lot of enemies out of the Chaos and Legion. And as you can see right here, I got some more zombies. I got the Lich Queen coming out after me. And then some of the Imperials, they just sprouted out. 2 of them did. Oh my goodness. I got the Executioner out here. I've got the Mage Breaker. These are creatures and people that I need to destroy, because they'll get more points when it's time for the Legion to score. And likewise to the all the horde pieces or standees that are out. I have to try to minimize them as much as possible, because the more of that these, like the curses, the little tentacle thing, they'll get points for that for each one. Especially if there's hordes out, which are these main characters for the Chaos faction, we'll get them points. And over here at the point track, I am doing all right. I am kicking the crap out of the Imperial faction, but the Chaos faction is kicking my teeth in. It doesn't really look at it right now, but if I don't do something about all of these characters and pieces and standees that they have out here, I'll be hurting in a little bit. And I also have to defend my havens, which are these little guys right here that are going to make sure to get me points at the end of the game if I survive at the end of this phase or chapter. At the end of this chapter track, we'll do some scoring. But this is an intense game. If you like 4X games, and even if you're like interested in 4X games, this is one I would recommend to get into, because the rulebook they did a bang up job. It's really, you can understand it pretty easily. I think if you're a gamer, if you do hobby games a lot, it's a real step-by-step process. They don't really use any like terminology that's super confusing. And also it's a spiral bound. It's awesome. They give you also a lot of examples. And another thing I appreciate is they give you quite a bit of, everyone will get a player aid. These two are player aids. I brought two because they're double-sided. And then also they have some, combat sequence. These are two more player aids that are double-sided. These are the combat sequences, what everything goes through, and placing and activation. There's a lot of step-by-step processes in this game. They've really made it simple to understand and learn what you're doing and what you have to go through. Now, I do find myself going into the rule book a lot just to make sure I'm doing things right and just checking abilities and if I can, do cool things or if not. But yeah, the factions are pretty cool. Again, the standees, the production for this game is awesome. It's just, really high quality. I know I got an all-in Kickstarter package, but this is just really good stuff. This is probably one of my top games that I've ever seen with production quality like this. The dice, the standees, the cards are real thick cardstock. And all the artwork, it's like really thematic, really cool looking, really interesting. But yeah, this is a really interesting 4X game. This is I haven't played too many 4X games, but I'm glad this is one of the few that I've played thus far. And this is probably not the one time I'm going to do a vlog on this. I'm probably going to do again because they also sent me an expansion, which I'm super excited. It brings more factions, more funness and good stuff. And they did give me some more dice because there is a lot of dice chucking in this that you will need. So yeah, this is just a really bang up game. What else can I say? Well, during my mid game, I did pretty good on my first round. As you can see, they're not ahead of Chaos because at the end of this chapter, I'm going to see if my faction pieces are ahead and have more victory points than either of the Chaos or the Imperial factions. Will win, but if I'm not, in front of both of them, I lose. And then we'll see how hard I lose. But yeah, this is a very interesting game. Very cool. I like the quests that you can do. You can do quests during your action phase. There's just a lot going on also in this game. A lot going on, but the creators, the Nemesis Games team, has really done a great job on how to kind of digest this 4X game. It does take quite a bit of space. This is, really, this is our game table at its breaking point because there's so much, and I'm the only one playing right now. So if we had more players, or if I had more factions out, I don't know. I'd have to try to rearrange and optimize the table a little bit more. But yeah, this is a lot of all going on at the table. But I mean, every time, I can't imagine doing how many heads would turn at a convention when they would see someone playing this game, because it's just the table presence is amazing. So we're going to go ahead and get back into it and see if I win or lose. Again, this is just a shortened game. I'm only going to be playing the first 2 chapters for a short game. And then, if I ever want to, which I probably will, because, man, this is a lot to dive into. It's just, it does take a while to play. So sometimes I get interrupted, and, anyone that plays long, huge, big Euro games, sometimes you get interrupted or you take breaks. And then your game table is occupied until you finish the game. But this is just about getting into the good stuff of the second chapter. But yeah, there's so much lore, thematical flavor text. They did a really great job with this game, the Nemesis Games team. So let's go ahead and get back into Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor, and see if I win or lose, and then we'll come back to our final thoughts. Alright, see you guys in a bit. Welcome back, people, and we just finished up our game of Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor. This game was intense. I only played, again, the very the shortest version, where you only play 2 chapters, but still, it was just pure carnage on the board. I had a bunch of units lost the last leg because of the Horde and the Legion get 2 more activations for anyone that's out there. And I had people coming after me. I had zombies to fight off. I had just a bunch of craziness going on. And this game was just insane. I lost so many. I won only by a couple points. I was kicking the crud out of the Legion early game, but I just kind of left alone the Chaos faction, and they just got to a point where I was like, oh, I gotta leave you alone and go ahead after the Chaos, the Horde faction, the Chaos Horde faction. And they were just, oh my gosh, I was nervous. I thought I was gonna lose because I was not having it. But at the end, you're during scoring, you can give up. Let's see if you can see it. 5 resources for 1 victory point, and I just had 5 resources for this faction just to pass the Horde's token for scoring, and that was the only thing that saved me. I was seriously just biting my fingernails, thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be it. I'm going to lose." And this game is just it's one intense 4X game, and I loved my solo experience with it, and it was insane. Look at it. This is just a crazy game that takes so much space on your game table, or any table for that matter. The table presence is intense, and I enjoyed every second that I got to play, and I can't wait to actually do this again with a longer time frame. I'm probably going to go ahead and just bump it up to 3, and then 4, and then there's even things to make it even harder and harder, which is pretty awesome. There's a lot of difficult variability in this game, where you can make it really easy, short, and then you can go ahead, and as you get more comfortable with everything, because there's a lot to keep track of, they have a lot of play rates for you, even rules that, like, most people overlook rules. That's a nice little handy thing to have there, and just a lot to keep up with. So if you kind of just work yourself up from just, a couple chapters to then 3, then 4, and then difficulties from easy, normal, then hard and insane when you get to that point, it's really, really an in-depth game, and just awesome. I love the production. The production is so cool. Look at this. This is awesome. These standees are just standees, player boards, everything, the little Haven miniatures that they got going on here. This 4X game is pretty freaking cool. And yeah, I just really love the production quality on this. They just did a bang-up job. The Nemesis Games team did a bang-up job on this. So let's go ahead into some final thoughts and leave you all with what I think. All right. All right, so what did I think of Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor? I think this is a great 4X game for those that want to dive into the 4X gaming world. I think this is a game that's easily digested. I feel like the rules are very clear, and if you need to reference things, you'll be answered. There's a couple of points where I was kind of confused, but after just reading it over and over and just kind of looking at how other things interacted within the rulebook, this was just a game that I feel like you could digest really easily because the rule books are just plain as day, in my opinion. And though there is a lot to keep up with in this game, they have a lot of player aids that help with this game. So I really appreciate the player aids that they put in this game. Some cons: it takes up a lot of space, like any kind of big game. This is a game that just takes up a lot of space, as you were seeing through all my, swipes of the table, pans. This is a lot of space. So if you don't have a table, or there's a couple ways you could do it. You don't need all the boards, the sideboards, or you can kind of just organize things in more of a way that kind of fits the gaming space that you have, but it does take up a lot of space. And I was only playing a solo game of 2 factions. This goes up to 4 factions. So having 4 factions and keeping track of all that, all the standees, resources and all that, it can get it can get a little hectic. So there's kind of a con, but if you can kind of manage it, then you'll enjoy this one. Anything else in that? It's just no, I really don't have any other gripes about it. Just a lot of table space. You do have to keep up with a lot. So there's that. And other than that, I just think this is a really great 4X kind of beginner entry-level game. It's not really entry-level because I like how easy it can be and how hard it can be. It depends on how well you want to go ahead and what difficulty you want to go through. And so this is a game that you can really chew on for a while. But it does take a while to play. Again, 120 minutes is bare minimum to 240 minutes. That's what's on the box. But yeah, I really like the standees. The production is phenomenal. Shout out to, again, the Nemesis Games team. They really did a great job on this Kickstarter. This is an all-in Kickstarter. They did send this to me. So again, we just want to make that clear. And again, thank them again for sending it our way. There's still a lot more content that there's in this game. Plus, they gave me an expansion, some extra cards, a dice pack for more dice, because you do a lot of throwing some dice around. But I really enjoyed this one. I'll leave links in the description of this video of its BGG and some more, links to find out more about this game. But we really hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'm glad that I get to, it was a little bit of a while since I've made a video, but I'm glad I'm getting back in the swing of things. And again, Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor was a really great game. Really hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, we'll see y'all later. Toodles!